Be Wealthy and Smart, episode 207.
Step into a world of wealth and financial freedom without budgets, boredom, or bosses on Be Wealthy and Smart. And now, here's your host, Linda P. Jones.
Welcome to Be Wealthy and Smart. I'm Linda P. Jones, America's Wealth Mentor, empowering women and men worldwide to financial freedom. On today's show, we're going to talk about should I repair my car or buy a new one? It is Listener Question Friday, so I have to answer a question from a listener. And here it is. Linda, I bought a 2002 Porsche Boxster in 2013 for $13,000. It had low mileage and not much to repair until this year. I think my repair cost came to $4,000. I guess my car is still worth about $8,000. Do you think I should trade it in for another car? Or should I drive it to the ground? The engine is still very good, no problem in driving, but a little here and a little there, the problems are becoming annoying. Well, that's a very good question, and you all know my philosophy of buying a car a little bit used in immaculate condition with low miles. And the reason for that is because you can save a lot of money and not have the depreciation that you have on new cars. And very often, cars will last a lot longer than we give them credit for and will drive very well, much longer than we mentally expect them to. So you can often save a lot of money by not buying cars too frequently. And that's one of my basic foundational things for people and advice for people who want to get ahead is quit buying cars too frequently. So let's look at this question and see what we can come up with. First of all, I want to say, good for you for buying a used car. You took my advice. You bought the 2002 Porsche Boxster in 2013, so it was actually 11 years old, which is a lot older than I expected for someone to buy a car, but hey, it's okay. And it still cost $13,000, so still had a fairly hefty price tag with it, and it's now today even still worth $8,000. So you haven't lost a ton of depreciation in those 3 years that you've owned your car. That's fantastic. So first of all, good for you. You've saved thousands of dollars, and I hope you were able to invest some of those savings that you did save. So hopefully you're putting that extra money that you would have spent on a car in your investment account. All right, when a large bill occurs, it can create a crossroads with your car decision. You have that decision, do I want to fix it or do I need to trade it in? And so here are some things to consider. Number one, in your case, a $4,000 repair is still a lot cheaper than buying a new car, especially a new Porsche. New cars also lose about 20% in the first year, so that would be an enormous hit to buy a new car. Or even if you bought another used car, you're still going to have depreciation on that at a greater rate on a newer car than you are on an older car. So the depreciation on a newer Porsche is going to happen faster. Number two, often a larger repair bill will occur about every 3 to 5 years. I found that myself, where I'll have something major go wrong every 3 to 5 years perhaps. But if it's more frequent than that, then there's something not right, and I want you to then possibly consider a trade. If you're paying $4,000 roughly every 5 years, that's still a lot cheaper than buying a new car. And again, you don't really get a lot of extra benefit for buying a new car. Yes, there are a lot of electronics and gadgets, but with that comes complexity. And a lot of people I know aren't all that comfortable with some of the electronics and feeling like there's a lot of extra stuff that they're not really using, and some of that also can go haywire. But there are some nice features on there too that might be nice to see, like that backup camera. I think is really nice to have the camera to be able to look at to see what's behind you. I'm not real crazy about having a car drive for me, but I guess some people are going to like that, and maybe that's the trend of the future, and I'll just have to get used to it. But I'm just fine with having the basics of a car. I just want to get from point A to point B and get there in luxury. Don't get me wrong, I like my nice cars. I have a Jaguar and a Mercedes. I like the nice cars, but I don't feel any need to be buying them all the time. I just think that's a crazy waste of money, and the opportunity cost is way too great to do that. So I'm comfortable and happy with my cars, and honestly, my Jaguar drives so smooth. It's the best, most fun car I've ever had to drive, and so I love driving that car. So anyway, look at how often you have those big ticket items. If they start happening more frequently than about every 5 years, then yeah, something might be off there. You might consider another alternative like trading it in. All right, number 3. If you feel like you're being nickeled and dimed to death, definitely consider a trade. It shouldn't feel like things are always going wrong or your car's always breaking down. That's just a pain in the neck. And it's also dangerous. You don't want to be breaking down somewhere. You don't want to be at night breaking down somewhere. This is just not a good situation. So if your car is literally breaking down constantly, do not keep it. Do not think that you're saving money in that case. That is not good decision making. So if you're having lots of breakdowns, which it doesn't sound like you are, but if you were, or if you get to that point, then I think, okay, take a look at replacing it. You definitely don't want to be in a situation where it's dangerous, nor do you want to be always having to take it into the mechanic. Number 4, if you buy a new car, your insurance will be more expensive, and your registration fees can also increase with a new car. So just be aware of that. You may have some additional costs for a newer car. Number 5, and that is on some of these newer cars, they're hybrids, they're electric, there's some nice features that might save you some gas money. So it could offset some of the higher insurance and the registration fees that I mentioned. But in general, you want to look at the repair bills of the car. But I think the gas is a good thing to consider as well, especially if gasoline prices go up a lot higher than they are today. That's going to be a more important number to consider because it's going to be a more meaningful number as the price of gas per gallon rises. One final thing to consider. As a rule of thumb, I would put off buying a new car as long as possible. It's almost always better to repair a car than to buy a new one. That's all for today. Until next time, live the good life and be wealthy and smart.
Thank you for listening to Be Wealthy and Smart with Linda P. Jones. Share the wealth and tell your family and friends about the show. Check out our website, blog, and social media for more riches at www.bewealthyandsmart.com.